Like, comment, share, subscribe. Also hit the bell notification so you be updated on the next video drops, and follow me on all the social platforms. Alright, fuck the intro. Let's get into the video. What's up, y'all? It's Mufasa Uncaged here, and I'm hitting y'all with another Is It Worth It game review. Now, as you can see, the game I'm reviewing is the Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. Now, I've never played any of the Space Marine games previous to this. I didn't even play the last Space Marine game, so all this is completely new to me. This game's been out for over a little bit of a month now, so I wanted to make sure I get this right. I'm going to give my thoughts, I'm going to tell you some details, and I'm going to do my thing. So without further ado, fuck the intro, let's get into the video. When it comes to the Warhammer universe, I'm not knowledgeable enough to know much about it, but I know the lore is really deep from what some people have told me. This will be my first Warhammer game I've ever played, so I have no idea what went on in the previous game that led up to this. So I will try my best to explain the story. From what I understand is you play as a space marine named Titus, who apparently was in prison for something he did in the last game. He then is freed so he can atone for his sins. He ends up in a group of space marines called Dark Watch. While on a mission, you crash land on a planet infested with a bunch of aliens called the Tyranids. You end up being the last survivor of your squad, and you continue on with the mission alone. Titus gets overwhelmed by the Tyranids and has a near-death experience. He then wakes up and is told he's been remade into a Primaris Marine that makes him even a better super soldier, and is reinstated into being an Ultramarine. The story leads you to fight off the Tyranid fleet along with a bunch of space marines who have betrayed the God Emperor called the Heresy. When it came to this story, it isn't what caught my attention to the game, it was the gameplay. The gameplay in here is so satisfying. First thing you'll notice is how many enemies are on the screen. You get a mixture of gun combat and melee gameplay. Plenty of guns to play with and a few options for melee weapons. With melee, you can rip your way through hordes of enemies. You can also pull off some gruesome executions that make you feel badass. Pulling off executions will restore some of your armor and can scatter a group of enemies that surround you. They also have a counter, perfect dodge, and a parry mechanic in here that fits well with this game. Perfect dodging allows you to counter shoot enemies, giving them a headshot. The way counters work is based off what enemy types attack you. Small enemies will attack and the counter will instantly kill them. For larger enemies, you will parry them and they will also have an unblockable move you can't counter. You'll also encounter boss fights that give you a fight that you're looking for. When you're done with the campaign, you can go on ahead and do co-op missions. The co-op missions have a separate story from the main campaign, but you can get to play as different classes of Space Marines. This shows you a different perspective from the main campaign that can take place on the same planets around the same time. There are 6 missions you can play, and you unlock these missions by playing through the main story. You are able to pick 6 classes to play with and level up. Whatever progress you make with one class in co-op can be leveled up in PvP also. In PvP, there's only 3 game modes to pick from. Capture and control, you capture a point and hold on to the next position. For COD players, this is basically hardpoint. Seize ground is basically domination, capture 3 points and hold them. Annihilation is team deathmatch in here. The first to 50 wins. There's customization for suits and guns in here too. You don't unlock attachments for guns, you just unlock another version of them that give you a different look with some improvements on it. The more you play with the gun, you unlock the other versions of it along with perks. Each class has a different play style to fit to the team's advantage. Tactical class can carry 2 weapons, and its special ability is shooting out a scan to see where enemies are. This can be really effective in PvP when someone's hiding around the corner or spotting enemies for allies. Assault class can only use a sidearm and a melee weapon. Their special ability is a jump pack that allows you to jump in the air and smack down on someone's ass from the heavens, or it can be used to dash away and towards enemies. The Vanguard class is the one I use the most of the time. Unlike the other classes, you have 2 armor bars. You are equipped with a grapnel launcher, which allows you to perform a diving kick like your Batman doing a dynamic entry and stun people. You can also zip and stick to walls with the grapnel launcher. If you like being that annoying person who runs around the game with a shield, then the Bulwark class might be for you. Just like the Assault class, you only have a sidearm and a melee weapon. Your special ability will be a banner that you place that restores you and your team's armor. The Sniper class is self-explanatory. You get 2 bars of armor, and your special ability is going invisible, which allows you to flank enemies or make an escape. And last, we have the heavy class. With the heavy class, you're the tank of the team. In this class, you don't get a melee weapon, but you have a minigun. Your special ability for this class will give you a barrier that blocks shots and allows you to push forward until your barrier breaks. This game had a little rocky start with the server issues, but those were fixed quick enough. The only thing I had found annoying was just having to quit the game, go back to the main menu, and just turn crossplay off and on. That's just me nitpicking. What I didn't get is why, when it came to crossplay between PC and consoles, you can only do it with co-op, but not PvP. When it comes to this game, it does a great job giving you that badass power fantasy that you and the bros can enjoy and making you feel like Kratos with a gun. It has blood, it has gore, it has guns, it has executions, it super soldiers, more blood, more gore, hordes of enemies, explosions. Basically what I'm trying to say is you can fuck shit up. This game is priced at $60 with more content coming in down the roadmap. The only thing I will say is some of their content that's on the roadmap could have been in the base game. This is a game that's getting a horde mode later on that should have been in the game day one. That's just how I feel. With all the lore from the Warhammer universe, there could have been more enemy types in here, but I'm gonna allow them to cook. Before this game dropped, I know there was people saying that this game is gonna kill Helldivers too. While I don't fully believe that, I do think that it took some of its players. Helldiver devs were messing up the game and pissing off the fan base with the constant nerfing that people were giving up the fight for democracy. Not to mention the PSN requirement too. People seeing Space Marines, it was gravitating towards it, which made the Helldivers developers revert and buff a lot of their weapons before this game dropped to keep whatever player base they had. Between both games, there is some competition, but that's what you need sometimes to make you better. I like both these games because they make you feel like I'm fighting for something with meaning behind it, and they're great co-op games. We just got a Starship Troopers game that just released on console that has 16-player co-op, which sounds dope as hell because we don't get games like that, especially with co-op games. Warhammer 40k has been around for years, and I have never jumped into it until now. Knowing what I know about the lore in this game, I'll say I'm interested to know more and ready to see what else they add to the game. As we get closer to the Game Awards, there are still games to be considered Game of the Year nominees. Space Marines 2 show it has potential to be one, but only time will tell. I'm pretty sure after looking at this review, I don't need to tell you is it worth it, even though I never tell y'all, but just look at all this that's going on the screen and ask yourself that question, because I can't make that final decision for y'all for buying this game. Now I want to hear from y'all. What are your thoughts on Space Marines 2? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What are some things you like about the lore? What are you looking forward to? Tell me in the comments down below. If you made it this far to the end of the video, I appreciate that. I'll also appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel and checking out my other content on my channel too. I'll also appreciate it if you check out all my other content that's on my other social platforms. Links will be in the description below. If you're looking for new people to game with, if you like talking about gaming or anime or anything nerd related in sorts, you can get into my Discord. I'll leave the link in the description below also. Now it's time for me to roll out, and I will holla at y'all in the next video. From Mufasa Uncaged, I'm out.